मन से कहो राम राम राम, श्री राम राम राम, श्री राम राम राम, श्री राम राम राम। प्रेम मुदित मन से कहो राम राम राम, श्री राम राम राम, श्री राम राम राम, श्री राम राम राम। पाप कटे दुख मिटे लेत राम नाम, भव समुद्र सुखद नाम एक राम नाम। श्री राम राम राम, श्री राम राम राम, श्री राम राम राम। परम शांति सुख निदान दिव्य राम नाम, परम शांति सुख निदान दिव्य राम नाम। निराधार को आधार, निराधार को आधार दिव्य राम नाम। श्री राम राम राम, श्री राम राम राम, श्री राम राम राम। परम गोप्य परम इष्ट मंत्र राम नाम, संत हृदय सदा वसत, भक्त हृदय सदा वसत दिव्य राम नाम। श्री राम राम राम, श्री राम राम राम, श्री राम राम राम। महादेव सतत जपत दिव्य राम नाम, काशी मरत मुक्ति करत, काशी मरत मुक्ति करत कहत राम नाम। श्री राम राम राम, श्री राम राम राम, श्री राम राम राम। मात पिता बंधु सखा सब ही राम नाम, मात पिता बंधु सखा सब ही राम नाम। भक्त जनन जीवन धन, भक्त जनन जीवन धन एक राम नाम। श्री राम राम राम, श्री राम राम राम, श्री राम राम राम। प्रेम मुदित मन से कहो राम राम राम, श्री राम राम राम, श्री राम राम राम, श्री राम राम राम। Brahma Vishnu Shiva Swarupa Tvam na anyatha. 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 Charatarasya palika namo namastada. Charatarasya palika namo namastada. Harideya Jyoti Maha Kalima Namah. Harideya Jyoti Maha Kalima
Worshipful homage and glory, O thou supreme, all transcending, supracosmic being, thou who art eternal, thou who art infinite, thou who art beginningless and endless, thou who didst exist always when nothing else did exist. When there was no second being to know you, then who knew you? Thou didst know yourself alone. Thou the broad Purusha of the Vedanta, the ancient timeless being. Thou art also the Purna Purusha, the all-full. Here upon earth all created Purna. They have got something or other lacking in them. They are not 100% complete and full. You are the one and only one, the all-full. And thou just everything that has streamed forth from you, everything that has come into being with you as its source, with you as its support, and with you as its ultimate end. While thou art thyself without either beginning or middle or end. Thou art Adi-Madhyanta-Rahita. Thou art Adi, thou art without Anta, thou art without Madhya. Adi-Madhyanta-Rahita. Worshipful homage unto thee. Let thy grace divine be upon us all. Loving prostrations and adoration to the Sadguru Bhagavan, loving prostrations, adorations to the worshipful and beloved Holy Master Gurudev Swami Chidanandaji Maharaj, in whose spiritual presence we are all gathered together. Thou art also Adi Madhyanta Rahita, because thou hast experienced your identity with that Supreme Being through your self-realization, Atma Sakshatkara, through your enlightenment and illumination, through your God experience, through your Vedantic realization of your oneness with that Supreme, Absolute, non-dual reality. May thy grace be upon all beings assembled together here in thy spiritual presence. There is a saying, Janani Janmabhumischa Swargadapi Gariyasi. The mother and the motherland, the country and the nation of which you are a citizen. The mother and the motherland are greater even than the celestial realm of heaven. More valuable, more important, more precious. Janmabhumi we can understand because it is your country of which you are a citizen. Janmabhumi we can understand because every loyal citizen is expected to harbor patriotic feelings towards his motherland or fatherland, because he is being sustained by its soil. His cities and towns are made possible by its rivers, the water of its rivers. And you are appeasing your hunger, nourishing yourself, growing, and you are alive because of the grain that its soil provides for you, because of the food material that it provides for you, vegetables, edible leaves, fruit, everything, rice, wheat, lentils, for your dal, everything. If you are drinking milk, if you are having yogurt or curd, or if you are having buttermilk, it is because of the grass that the cattle are able to feed upon, and out of grass they give you life-nourishing milk and curd and buttermilk and butter and ghee. Practically your whole life depends upon the soil upon which you move about. No astronaut would have landed on the moon had not the rocket at the launching side, launching pad, the firm, strong earth underneath it, from where to kick off in the first instant. The whole launching setup is firmly embedded upon the earth. If Empire State Building has 108 stories in its height, it is because the earth has provided it the foundation, in-depth foundation, in order to support the loftiness of its structure. They say in Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur there are two of the tallest buildings upon earth today. They were taller even when the two towering structure of the World Trade Center were still existing before they were destroyed. Even when they were existing until 11th of September, 2 years ago, even then the Malaysian structure was the tallest in the whole world, thanks to Muhammad Mahathir, the extraordinary, charismatic Prime Minister. How did that become possible? Because of Mother Earth. Mother Earth supports it, gives it firmness, gives it strength, gives it the indispensable firm support necessary. So, Janmabhumi, we can understand. You exist because of the necessities of life being provided in abundance year after year by your country's Mother Earth. But what about Janani? There is a mystery. It is the father who spends money from his pocket, spends his money in order to feed you, clothe you, make you grow up, push you into school. LKG, UKG, primary school, middle school, high school, +2, college, makes you a graduate, a postgraduate. or a technical person, 4 years, 5 years course, MBBS, MD, specialty, MSc, LLB, computer engineer, aviation technician, whatever it is the father who spends. Father who even supports your mother, his wife. So what does the mother do? Why she is also tagged on together with Janmabhumi? For the simple but undeniable and onerous reason that had she not been there, you would not exist today. Had she not existed, you would not exist today. Your very existence you owe to your mother. Your very existence is because of her. She is the source of your being. She is the origin of your existence. She bore you within herself for 9 months, 9.5 months, 10 months. When Dasharatha, King Dasharatha, the ruler of Kosha Desha, in its capital city of Ayodhya, or ancient Awadh, decided that now I am getting old. My eyesight is not what it was. My hearing is not what it used to be. In Raghuvamsha there is a very nice description of that stage. In which Dasharatha found that is now the right time for him to retire and to put his eldest son, Sri Rama, an ideal being, upon the throne to rule the kingdom in its place. In Raghuvamsha it says, just as an oil lamp with a cotton wick has been lit in order to dimly light the bedroom of a person when the person goes to bed, because too bright a light will disturb sleep, will work against the onset of sleep. But absolute darkness would create a problem when sometime in the wee hours of the post-midnight period, if one feels like going to the toilet If one opens one's eyes in pitch darkness, then it will create a problem. Sometimes one becomes disoriented. In a familiar room where one has been living for years, when from deep sleep one gets up, you become disoriented. You don't know where you are sleeping, which is what direction, whether you are facing this way, whether you are facing that way. In absolute darkness, everything becomes strange. The familiar becomes unfamiliar. You don't know what is on your way. You may, after you become completely aware, when you rub your sleep off your eyes, when you become completely aware, you may dimly know, yes, this is the way. But what is there in the way where you have to step carefully, sometimes in absolute pitch darkness, you are not in a position to know. G.K. Chesterton, in one of his half mystical stories he wrote, the real nature of things are not known when they are in light. This is only what your eyes see. Your eyes sees according to its orientation. But it is only in absolute pitch darkness that each thing is what it is. And that no one can really know, because in that state of pitch darkness, no one has really seen things as they really and truly and factually are. He was a semi-mystical writer, G.K. Chesterton. The reality of things are only known when you cannot see them, when they are what they are. Otherwise, every modifying factor, the light of the sun, the shadows that impinge upon it, and the relative limitation of your own eyesight, and also your idea of it, already preconceived idea of it. This is wood. How do you know what wood is? You have been into this computer memory from childhood. Something has been continuously put about wood. It comes on trees. When the trees are dry, then alone things are made out of it. So these are all preconceived ideas already put into your mind, through which only you can perceive and know and recognize, and therefore it is already conditioned. And now we come to the concept of the mother. The dim light of the lamp is necessary in order that some perception of direction, what is on the way, can be cognized by you. But having burned the whole night in the early hours of dawn, when the darkness is about to recede, and slowly, little by little, you are able already to see things around you. At that time, having burned the whole night, the oil has become depleted. And when the oil has become depleted, and the flame, Deepashika, the flame at the tip of the cotton wick has to draw with an effort the almost finishing oil at the very bottom of the clay lamp, then the flame begins to flicker. Flame begins to flicker, sending forth a sign that in a little while I shall be no more. The lamp will become oilless, its bottom will become dry, and then the wick will feed upon whatever little oil is already in it, in which it is soaked, and feeding upon its own oil gradually, the cotton wick will become dry, and a time will come, suddenly smoke only will be there. There will be no more any flame. One day, Dasharatha, in order to put his kirita, or the headdress, diadem, because all kings wore that headdress made of gold and jewels, all the 9 jewels, pure gold, richly ornamented with jewels. That is a sign of their royalty. Just as the crown in the Western world and the scepter. When he was looking into the mirror, he suddenly saw some white hair in his 2 ears, because when people become very old, they grow a beard and mustache, side whiskers, and also the hair, eyebrows become very long hair, sometimes even falling into the eyes, interfering with the eyelashes, and then ear also becomes full of hair. And as he was looking into the mirror, he found that all his hairs were white. Suddenly he realized, oh, I am really very old. I have become quite old. I did not realize it. Now it is high time that I get down from the throne, I abdicate and put my eldest son, worthy in every respect to be a king and a ruler, an ideal person. I put my eldest son Rama upon the throne. Gariyasi says, when he thus saw in the mirror, and then white hair was seen, it is as though the white hair means old age. Old age in the form of white hair came close to me and whispered, "O Dasharatha, now you have become old. After a little time your end will come. It is better now to install your eldest son, Rama, as the king of Koshala Desha, to rule from its capital of Ayodhya." Tam karnamulam agatya rame shrir nishchatam iti uvacha. Uvacha phalisa chadvana jara. Old age in the form of ripened white hair. Chadma means hair. Phalita means that which has become ripe. Jara means old age. Old age in the form of Phalisaschadma, tam karnamulam agatya rame shrir nishatam iti Uvacha. Coming closely, it whispered. Why did it whisper to Dasharatha only? Because if it openly it declares, there are other 3 sons, they may become displeased. Also, Rama is the son of the eldest queen, and there are 2 other queens. They may become displeased that our husband is not installing our son. He is only installing Kaushalya's son and not Sumitra or Kaikeyi. They may become like that. Therefore, it went and whispered. Now, he consults his royal priest, the Purohit, and also advisor, religious and spiritual guide, Guru, Vasishta, a great, highly learned person, very highly learned, highly erudite, highly learned, very wise person. And he says, yes, O Dasharatha, even though I am your subject, living in your realm, therefore you are superior to me in that state of relationship. You are my king. I must talk to you respectively. But in the spiritual dimension, you are my disciple. I am your Guru. So you are asking me what I think of your idea of installing Rama, retiring and installing Rama upon the throne as ruler. My opinion is you are thinking right. It is the right time for you to do so. You are quite courageous and brave not to cling to the throne, but graciously wanting to do the right thing by your subjects, your kingdom, and your own family. Then Dasharatha says, please find out an appropriate and auspicious time in which I can install Rama upon the throne. He says, I shall look through the almanac and then let you know. By this evening I'll let you know, latest by tomorrow I'll let you know. And when he did so, and Dasharatha decided to install Rama, and he proclaimed it, all the subjects became very happy, because Rama was loved by everyone due to his excellent character, lofty and noble nature. He was an ideal human individual. And all the 3 queens loved Rama as their own son. Not only the mother who actually gave birth to him, Kaushalya, but also Sumitra, Kaikeyi, all of them. But there was a very crooked-minded, vicious maid to the youngest of the 3 queens, whom Dasharatha loved very specially. She was most beloved to him, and she had this crooked-minded maid who poisoned her mind, saying, if Rama is installed on the throne, finished, you will be nowhere. What do you mean? Shut up. Get away. Don't talk nonsense. I am not talking nonsense. If Rama is installed on the throne, who will be the Queen Mother? Rajamata. Will you be the Queen Mother? No. It will be the eldest queen, Kausalya, who will be the Queen Mother. All respect will go to her. Everyone will kowtow to her, bow to her, pay her reverence, obeisance. And who will care for you? You will only be number 3. She will be number 1. Next to her is Sumitra. Sumitra will be number 2. You will be number 3. You will be nowhere. No one will care for you. And that she goes on telling, instilling poison venom into her. And ultimately, she persistent effort. See, even will turn nectar into poison. Persistent. Gradually, she poisons the mind of Kaikeyi. Kaikeyi's mind changes. And then she compels Dasharatha to give 2 promised boons to her. He says, you promise, yes, certainly. You will give it? Yes, certainly I will give it. Ask whatever you want. Number 1, number 2, I will give you the boon. If you want a third also, even though I have not promised it, I will give. She never dreamt that she would be asking something terrible, explosive. So he was really, sincerely and honestly ready to give whatever she asked. Then she says, I asked the 2 boons. One is, in the place of Rama, my son Bharata should be installed upon the throne. Dasharatha says, yes, why not? Bharata is equally dear to me, and he is very dear to Rama, and Rama will be very happy. And Rama is happy, I am also happy, because I love Rama very dearly. It's done. But that is not all. Second boon, Rama should be banished into the wilderness, into the deep, dense forest for a period of 14 years. 14 years. Why are you asking that? My God, I cannot live without the sight of Rama, even for one single day. My whole life in the body, my whole life breath will suffer in agony, like a fish taken out of water and put upon the land. Don't ask that. Rama will happily live here. No, he was good. Why are you asking that? Because all the subjects love Rama, and you have already proclaimed to them that he will be installed upon the throne. They are rejoicing everywhere. And if you suddenly change the decision and put Bharata, all the subjects will be angry. And if Rama is still there, they will think we will revolt. We will rise in rebellion and see that Rama is installed on the throne. Therefore, he must not be here for them to be able to upset my decision and deny Bharata the throne and install their Rama. As long as he is here, it is possible. But if he goes away to the jungle, out of sight, out of mind, they will not be able to bring him back. Then my son will be safe from the displeasure of the subjects who love Rama very dear. And now just imagine, Rama agrees to that immediately. Now, Rama need not agree. He was not in any way obliged to agree to this. Because the one who demanded this was not his mother. She was the youngest queen, Kaikeyi. She was not his mother. He was born to the eldest queen, Kaushalya. And he was not obliged to fulfill the desires of Kaikeyi. Immediately, without hesitation, agree to go to the forest, even though Dasharatha said, no, don't go, don't go, don't go. It gives you an insight as to how very highly one regards the mother, because being the wife of his own father, Rama regarded Kaikeyi as being on equal par with his mother. She was a co-wife. My mother is the Dasharatha's wife, queen, but she also is upon the same status. She is also wife of my father, Dasharatha. She is also the queen, fit to be queen. Even so, the third wife, who is the middle one, second one, that is Kaushalya as my mother, so do I regard Sumitra as my mother. Even so, I regard Kaikeyi as my mother. His own mother, Kaushalya, had not asked him to go to the forest. No, on the contrary, she feels, alas, how can I bring myself to give my permission and blessing to my son? I bore him for 12 months, I have 10 months within me. 10 months I bore him. And I gave birth to him. And in his helpless condition as an infant, I looked after him. I cared for him. I washed him. I redressed him. I fed him. I am the life of his life. And how I can allow him to go? She did have this feeling, but nevertheless, because she said, yes, I have to yield. Because one who is just like myself, together with Sumitra, Kaikeyi is just like myself. Therefore, even though from the very innermost root of my being, I say, no, Rama, don't go. Rama, stay. At least stay for one day more. Because Rama decides to go the very same day. At least stay for one day more. Because Kaikeyi says he must go just now. Because that is the day and the auspicious moment for the new king to be installed upon the throne. So if Rama goes away, my son must be immediately called from, he had gone to his uncle's house, immediately called and installed. And even though Rama was not obliged to go, because it was not his mother who was wanting to go, because the very fact that she was on par with his mother, so highly is the mother respected. He said, no. Kaikeyi is no other than Kausalya. She is just like my mother Kausalya. Her words are to me as the words of my mother. I bow to her wishes, I go. This is the high place given to the mother in the context of the Indian Hindu culture. Indian Hindu culture. Therefore, the land whose soil nourishes you and makes your life possible is called motherland. Matribhumi in our culture, not fatherland. In the West, sometimes they refer to your nation as the fatherland. Breathes there a man, his soul so dead, who never to himself has said, this is my own, my fatherland. Who does not have that feeling of patriotism. Fatherland. This is motherland, Janmabhumi, who gave birth to you. Such is the great, that explains why the poet says, or the saying goes, Janani Janmabhumischa Swargadapi Gariyasi. It explains this saying, this concept. The mother and the motherland are greater even than the celestial world, celestial realm of the student who had finished his studies, remaining with the Guru in the Guru's own hermitage, in the outskirts of the forest, remaining as a Vidyarthi in the Gurukula and imbibing, learning for a period of 12 years. And after the learning is over, with the blessings of the Guru and the Guru's wife, these forest-dwelling hermits and sages were people with families, and kings endowed with them with property also. Otherwise, how they can keep the students, accommodate them, feed them, and teach them? So they had fields which they cultivated. They had koshala, cows, which yielded them milk, etc., for the students, young students. Because young students at the age of 8 or 10 were admitted into the Gurukula. 12 years they study. At the age of 22, 23, they returned. They were sent back home. Blessings. So they had all these things with them. And Vasishtha had his own Gurukula also. And same by these gurus in ancient times, when the student finished his education and the time came for him to depart back into his home, they, just as when a person has finished his studies in a university, when he is to take his degree and go, a special function is arranged by the university to give the degrees to people. And they have to put on a special dress, like lawyers put on a special dress, with a flat square top, a cap, black cap, and black gown of a particular type of cloth. And each student who has passed the postgraduate, he is called upon the stage and the degree certificate is wrapped into a cylindrical shape and given sometimes by the Vice Chancellor, sometimes by a specially invited guest. Maybe he may be a king or a minister or chief minister or a prime minister or president. This is called convocation. And in that convocation, some special invited guest is made to give the address, main address. They call it the convocation address. And in the same way, in the ancient Gurukulas, the day of departure, he gives special advice to the departing students and sends them back home. And the special advice starts with the sentence, Matra Devo Bhava. May your mother be your God. May your mother be your God. Then afterwards it is followed by Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Athiti Devo Bhava, Satyam Mother, Dharmam Chala, Swadhyayan Ma Pramada. Like that, many other things follow. But the first thing is, may your mother be your God. That was the high status given to the mother. Naturally, Rama also had been told, may your mother be your God. And it was the magnanimity and the large-heartedness of Rama that he did not confine this identity to his own mother who gave birth. He also gave this identity to Sumitra and also gave his identity to Kaikeyi. And even though he was not obliged from point of view of his birth to obey Kaikeyi, yet the very word that she is mother, she may be stepmother, does not matter, but she is mother. Stepmother contains the word mother. That is greatness. That is the idea. That explains this saying, Janani, Janmabhumischa, Swargadapi, Gariyasi. Just as you can understand the basis of patriotism, so too you can understand the reverence and the love and the high status given in one's heart to one's mother. Thus is the serving of today. From this place, by the grace of the Supreme Being and the benedictions, blessings of Gurudev Swami Chidanandaji Maharaj. And thank you, each and every one of you, for making this possible for the servant who is now in this seat. Hari Om Tat Sat.